Okay, so welcome back to lecture once again, guys. Now in this lecture, I'll be talking about some of the common inbuilt function, a function that has already been created inside a SQL. You just have to use it as per your need. So let's try to understand that what are those common inbuilt function and how we can try to use it. Let me share my screen and yeah, so I believe it's visible to all of us. One by one, let's start talking about some of the common inbuilt function. Yeah. So here, there is a function called as select database, and then function means, so you have to do bracket. Yeah, so you have to do a bracket. So here, if I'm going to execute this select database, so it is going to give me like a current selected database. So whatever database which is currently in a place, or whatever database which I have selected, it is going to talk about basically that particular database. Means it is going to return you the current database. Now there is a function called as select version. Now it is going to give you a MySQL version. So this is going to give you, so I'm using a MySQL version is equal to 8.0.42. So it is trying to give me this particular version. Now there is a next function you will be able to find out, which is called as a select user. So here this function is going to give you, as this name suggests, about a user. So root user, through a root user I have logged in. So it is talking about that particular root user over here. Now so here there is another function called as select, and then char underscore length. So character length, this is the function. And let's suppose if I'm going to pass over here Euron as a string inside this particular function, so it is going to return what? So it is going to return, so what is the total number of the character which is available over here, as this function suggests. Now these are the functions I think that you should know at least once in a lifetime, so that you must be aware about that this is something which exists, right? So this is something which exists actually inside a SQL, because obviously when we are going to work with the real-time system, these functions will be pretty much required. Now there is a function called as select len, select len gth length, and let's suppose if I'm going to pass Euron over here. So now this function is going to return me something in a byte. So if I'm going to check this one, so basically it is going to return me the byte length at the end of the day. Now there is another function called as select reverse basically, and here, so as this function name suggests, so if I'm going to pass maybe a Euron over here, so it is going to reverse this entire Euron, right? So it is going to reverse this entire Euron. So here NORUE. So in a reverse order, it is trying to print all these things. Now, so there is something called as select UUID. So this UUID is going to return me a unique ID basically. So it is going to generate a unique ID. So at any point of a time inside a table, so we are trying to insert a data, and we would like to generate some of the unique ID, and then we would like to insert a data. So obviously that is possible with the help of UUID function, so which is going to generate a data each and every time. So whenever I'm going to execute once again, so it is going to generate once again. So every time you must be able to see that when I'm executing it, so it is like not giving me the same return. So it is giving me a different kind of a return. So here you will be able to generate a unique ID. Now, so there is something called as select and if, right? So if over here, and as we all know that if is nothing but it's a conditional logic, right? So here if I'm going to write 5 is greater than 3, so if this is going to be true, so if this condition is going to be true, then return what? So return basically my name SUDH. Otherwise return what? So return KUMAR, something like that, right? So return KUMAR, something like that I would like to write. So okay, I can do that. So here it is returning me SUDH, as you can see, because this condition is going to give me true. There is a if condition, right? So always if condition is going to give you either true or a false based on the statement it is going to check. And here, so I have written that if there is a true, give me this. In case of false, give me this. So if I'm going to write down maybe this way, so 5 is lesser than 3. Now this return is going to change, and it is going to give me Kumar. Yeah, because now this condition it became false. So you can try to write even a if condition over here. And here, so there is another function called as select CO collapse. So where is my collapse? COA or column escape, and let's try to understand this particular function. So here, let's suppose I have given NULL, and then I'm going to give you null, and let's suppose if I'm going to give basically some value, backup value over here. Now what it is going to return, let's try to understand. So let's suppose we have a null value, and then we have a backup value, and again we have basically a null value, and then we have basically a SUDH, right? So SUDH. So there are so many values which I am trying to insert inside this one, and it is going to return a first not null value. So it will go from here, and whatever value is going to be a not null, it is going to give you a return of the first not null value. So let's suppose if I'm trying to parse through the entire data which is available inside a row or maybe a column, and if I have to fetch a first non null value, so I can try to fetch it with the help of this call escape function. Now, so there is another function called as select is, and then there is a function called as null. So what it is going to do, so is null is going to check whether something is null or not. So let's suppose if I'm trying to pass SUDH over here, so obviously SUDH is not null, so it is going to give me basically so I think it's not able to execute. So is null? No. So basically it's false. If I'm going to pass a null over here, let's suppose, so in that case it is going to return me true, which is 1 eventually it is going to return. So now you can see that that is null. So yes, this is particularly a null. So it is going to return me this particular part. So these are the function, guys. Again, I'm not saying that you should remember any of this function, but at least once in a lifetime you are supposed to execute all of this function, and more such kind of function I'm going to discuss in my upcoming lectures as well. So with that, thank you so much everyone. Take care, and see you again in my next lecture.